Today's meditation number 13 is a continuation of the last meditation which we did. The last meditation number 12 was on Taittiriya Upanishad, the second chapter. It was on the first verse of the first section. And what we studied last week was the nature of the reality, the nature of the truth of the universe, which was defined in the first verse as Satchit Ananda Atma. Very important definition in the Vedanta. Sat stands for Satyam, independently existing principle called as Satyam, pure existence. The second was Chit, pure consciousness, pure knowledge. And the last was Ananda. Ananda means unlimited, limitless, infinite, beyond limitation of time, space, and objects. That was the definition of Atma or Brahman. Whenever I say Atma or Brahman, it means that there is a reality in which this entire universe comes and goes. The entire universe includes me, my body, my mind. This also comes and goes from this reality. In the second verse today, which we are seeing, a little bit more detail of this world is explained here. In the Tattva Bodha, we saw that the world consists of the 5 elements. Here in this verse, clearly the Upanishad states, Tasmat eva tasmat etasmat atmana akasha sambhutaha. That means what? From this Atma, Akasha comes. From this entity, from this higher principle, just now we studied Atma, that Brahman, that pure consciousness without the reflection of the mind. From that comes the Akasha. First comes Akasha. Akasha means space. From it's born. See, now here he is talking about the creation of the world, how the creation comes about. And very beautifully, this is the seed verse from where Tattva Bodha gets the entire knowledge about it. From here only Shankaracharya borrows that the creation consists of the 5 elements, the space, air, fire, water, earth. All this is from this verse. From the source of that, Tattva Bodha is here. So the creation is from a subtlest to the grossest. And what is the subtlest in creation? Space. Space, next to that is air, fire, water. This is how creation comes in. And how do we say space is more subtler than earth? Because space has got one quality, which is sound. The next subtler principle, the air, has got 2 qualities. And the 2 qualities are the sound and touch. The fire, the third subtler principle, has got 3 qualities. Sound, touch, form, and color. That means fire's special quality is what? Form and color. Air's special quality is touch. Space special quality is sound. Water has got a special quality of what? Taste. And the earth has got all the 5. It has got the sound. If you listen on the ground, if you put your ears to the ground, you can see the rumbling of the sound of the earth. Then it's got the touch, it's got the form, it's got the color, it's got the taste. when the rain falls, you can smell the earth. So it's got all the five qualities. Therefore, it is called as the grossest. So from Atma comes these five elements. And from these five elements, according to the subtlety only, we get the five sense organs. The space is related to which sense organ? It is related to the ears. The air is related to the skin. The fire is related to the eyes. The water is related to the tongue, and the earth is related to the nose. There is an interaction which takes place between the sense organs and the sense objects. And then that is what is called as this cycle of birth and death at the gross universe level as per the karma of a jiva. So this verse explains to us how the mind, which is formed out of the subtle elements, the gross body, which is formed out of the gross elements, they all interact with the sense objects because they are all matter principle. The subtle body, the mind, the gross body, the sense objects, all are matter principle. But the source of all this is Atma. The source of all the five elements is Atma. Without Atma, nothing exists. From the earth, what happens is the food, herbs are born. Herbs lead to the food. From the food, the man eats the food, and then the gross body comes from the food eaten by the man. So external body comes from the external elements, the five gross elements. So whatever happens to the body, we should not be worried about, because it has come from the food, it will go back to the food, it will go back to the five elements. But the mind survives, it goes to the next physical body. Atma never travels, it always exists, giving the mind the power to act, and the mind gives the sense organs the power to function. This is the structure of this entire universe. This is the Vedas. This is the knowledge of the Veda. It tells us how the whole universe has come about, how the jiva comes into a body, experiences joy and sorrow as per the law of karma, again takes up another body, again drops the body. This cycle of birth and death, called as samsara, is explained in this second verse. And then this Taittiriya Upanishad focuses on the five koshas. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, all the knowledge of whatever we learn in the yoga about the koshas has all come from this Taittiriya Upanishad. Atma Bodha, the Tattva Bodha also takes the knowledge of the five koshas from Taittiriya Upanishad. Hopefully one day we'll do this Taittiriya Upanishad in detail after the Bhagavad Gita. So with this, I will stop the session on the theory of meditation, and then let's get into the practice of meditation now. Please close your eyes. If you're sitting in a chair, place the feet firmly on the ground. Observe the breath. I am the consciousness which is watching the breath. The knowing principle is called as Atma. My body is made up of 5 gross elements. I am the Sakshi, the witness of the gross body. My mind is made up of subtle elements. The emotions I experience belong to the mind. In the sleep state, there is a subtle thought in the mind. This thought is called as avidya vritti. Avidya means ignorance. It is the subtlest experience I have in creation. I am the pure, formless consciousness. The body and the mind are a gift from the nature. For a short period of time. The mind has two states, conditions, manifest and unmanifest. I, the Atma, am never conditioned by anything in creation. I am not conditioned by time. Body is conditioned by time. I am not conditioned by all the actions. The body and mind are conditioned by the actions. I am ever free. I claim I am Nitya Muktaha. Moksha is my nature. I am a liberated person. Asangoham. 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 Punaha. I am ever unconnected with the body, mind, and the universe. Om Asato Ma Sádgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Absolute peace is my real nature. Gently open your eyes. Let's find out any questions from anybody at the moment. I don't see any question. But has a question. Can you ask me, But, what is the question?
Yeah, Shikarji.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
Yeah, But. Can you unmute him, Shanmugam? But are you able to speak?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So we talk about mind being blank.
Mind being?
Mind being blank.
Okay.
Right, but the experience tells us mind is calm and it goes through all the actions or all the experiences.
Yes.
So that we can call it as a calm.
Yeah.
And similarly, if I experience a shock, it gets stunted. It doesn't react. It just unmoves.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, there is a stunted condition of the intellect.
Correct.
Yes.
So, but what is mind is blank? Because to say that if I say my mind is blank, that itself is a vritti, right?
It is everything. That's right.
So you can't say mind is a blank by saying I have experienced mind is blank, right? So I'm a bit confused there.
Yeah. You see, what happens is when the mind is blank, that blankness comes in a form of a vritti itself. You see, the mind, for example, I am angry, I am disturbed. These are all vrittis. These are all thoughts of the mind only. I am very happy today. It's a thought in the mind. And this thought is being illumined by consciousness. Similarly, in the sleep state, the mind has a thought, and the thought is what? There is nothing. There is nothing in front of me. There is nothing. There is no creation. That's the thought, and that thought is called as the thought of ignorance. That thought of ignorance is illumined by Sakshi. So all of us, when we go to sleep, this is a thought which we have. This is a thought what we experience. That's what the scriptures say, and it is. So suppose you say, I experience blankness. That blankness is not anything, but it is a thought that there is nothing. And this thought is witnessed by some entity. That is what Dakshinamurti Stotram clearly says. In the sleep state, what exists and experiences the blank state is the Sakshi. That Sakshi is nothing else but Dakshinamurti, Lord Shiva. Knowing that Lord Shiva as the Sakshi principle, I am liberated. That is what is the knowledge of Atma. So it is very subtle thought. Right now, it may not make sense to us because our mind is very, very gross. It took me several years to understand that mind, the thought is in sleep is an ignorant thought. That means there is nothing is a thought. It took me a lot of time to understand. So if you don't understand, it is just that it is an unmanifest condition of the mind which manifests a thought. And the thought is, I don't know anything. See, in the waking state, the thought is what? I know everything. I can see my eyes, I can see the whole universe. My sense organs are all open, and therefore, there is complete knowledge. Whereas, look at the sleep state, complete ignorance. I know nothing. Only when you compare the waking state with the sleep state, you will understand the huge difference between manifest condition of the mind and unmanifest condition of the mind. And seeing this unmanifest condition of the mind is a tremendous amount of spiritual knowledge. This is where Mandukya's Upanishads, the whole essence of Mandukya is built on the sleep state. Gaudapada Acharya, the commentator, he goes on to in Advaita Prakaranam and in Vaitita Prakaranam, in the third chapter, second chapter, third chapter, all that, what the author says is, the sleep state, which is the seed state, that seed state is the cause of this entire universe for me, the individual. Same thing, if you put all the sleep state of all the individuals in the world is something called as Maya. That is what is called as Maya. My individual sleep state is called as Avidya. These are the two terms which are used. And so this is where if you take the waking state as standard and try to analyze Sakshi, it will not work. You have to go to the Sakshi, that means when the three states are resolved, that you take as a standard. From there you start the spiritual journey. This is where I am. This is my real state. My Swarupam is that state when the three states are resolved. And I am there. That should be the standard for studying Vedanta. When we take that as the standard, that format in which we study is called as binary format. I have not talked about it because this comes in advanced classes of Vedanta. When I study the world as Jiva in the waking state, it is called as the triangular format. That means I see that I am the individual, Jiva. I see the world, Jagat, and I know that between the individual and the world, there is a creator. So this triangular format is called as Jiva Jagat Ishvara format. This is how all of us start the spiritual journey. But the moment I understand that there is only consciousness, the Dridrishya Viveka follows the second methodology. That there is consciousness and there is the other three states are all anatma. Atma, anatma, viveka. When we do, it is supposed to be binary format. So, but I think at this point of time, just take it as a blank state watched by the Sakshi. That's all. Shama, you have a question?
Yes, Namaste, Shekharji. Absolutely brilliant session, and Drigdesha, I think I really love it. What I wanted to say is, so what I understand is me and my mind, we create our own samsara. Is that right? Ahamkara and aham. Yeah, we are creating each
yes,
one
absolutely.
of us.
Yes, each one of us is creating our own ahamkara. This ahamkara is something which is the one which causes all the problems, and this ahamkara is the one which goes on from body to body.
Yeah. So now, and through the steady principle, which right away you have been initiating it all the while about the awareness principle, which is akin to the being connected with the sakshi, you know, being more aware of that, one can actually internalize and intellectualize all of that we are learning about Brahman and Atman. Yeah.
Yes.
So we then are therefore have got two choices. One is to actually moksha, or which means we are actually wanting to look at the serious show,
yes.
or continue in the bondage, which is the serial show. Is that
That's
right?
Correct. That's right. Absolutely right. You got the essence of today's talk.
No. I loved it. I thought this is such a beautiful way to describe it. The serious show, the serial say, what shall I have? So yeah. I love it. You can't do this or that. You have to decide whether it's going to be this or that. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and because quite often we are actually wanting to be in the two boats, you know, and really you're not going very far with that then.
Yes.
So all that is very beautiful. I do have an issue, and that is because of my mind and the Maya Shakti, which is there, I have a real difficulty, although intellectually I know and I understand I am Brahman, and to meditate on it seems like the perfectly fine thing. But when I begin to do this, I am overwhelmed with to see my defects. You know, I can't help seeing it because I just see off how many mistakes and how overwhelmingly in the past and even in the current day world, I keep doing mistakes. So while to say I'm a Brahman, I almost have to think it's like the most perfect, the purest, the most supreme, you know, there is no vikara in it. So to actually really embrace that in my meditation, I find that very difficult because the mind and the ego, and you said there is no way of dissolving it. It's the one and the same thing, isn't it? The mind and the ego are very connected. So it is something about like moving away from both of them. And through meditation, I definitely understand that it would be possible. But how at this interface, at that point that I am, where I'm constantly seeing my ego and the mind self.
Here, Shama, what you have to do is to remember Brahmananda Valli, which we have Brahma Jnana Valli, which we have done before.
Yeah.
And there you must remember Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The second portion is very, very important. That is Jagan Mithyatvam. That means mind and the reflected consciousness and the jivatvam which we experience in our waking state and the dream state is mithya. It's of a lower order of reality, like the dream world. So I learn to accept that these are there, they are appearing, they are experienced, they have a transaction, and they have utility also. But they are appearances, they are mithya. I have to learn in my meditation, I have to say that these are mithya appearances. Exactly, dream number one is the dream, and the dream number two is the waking. which is the play of the Maya, which is the play of the mind and the world and the sense organs. I am the Sakshi. I'm a higher reality, like the waker. Atma is a higher reality, which is experienced by me in sleep state, and I know very well in the sleep state there is no world, no, all these are in dormant condition. Whatever I experience in the sleep state, that is a sample of my Brahman state.
Yeah. In the next few verses,
can I just add over here, Mr. Kannan? There is also, and this is for Shamaji. There is a very nice verse, 56 of Vigyan Bhairava. It's a very interesting. There's a meditation technique over there, which says go deep into the feeling of this world as very illusionary. So it's a nice,
which is what Shekharji is saying.
Yes,
that
exactly what he's saying.
You have to assert that this is mithya, and that is it.
That's
and so really there is completely keep telling my mind to just shut up, you know.
Yes,
that is mithya. So you don't even talk to me, you know. I don't want to listen to you.
That's correct. You see,
I'm feeling curious, you know, you did refer to that in the next couple of verses, there is some mechanism of knowing how to drop the ego, which really is the key problem, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm hoping to learn that.
Yes, that is only by saying it is a mithya.
In the meantime, I just want to ask you, because this is something which I've conned my brain into it, you know, which is like, you know, each one to their own nature, whatever. So I've identified that I have always loved to serve people, to please people, to look after themselves and all of that. In other words, it has all been a master. The external world has been a master. So I was thinking that if I can drop my normal human ego to think, what if I was a dog? You know, this I really find it is working for me. If I am a dog and I am that faithful, serving, devoted dog, which is devoted to the principle of the Brahman, you know, so the Brahman is the real God or Atma or whatever, and I am devoted to that, that somehow translates in where I can actually drop the ego, because it's easy for me to think that what if I was a dog and I am a dog? You know, because then it's very easy to relate to the devotion of the dog.
Yes, this is what in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna in the second chapter says, or third chapter, he is saying in Karma Yoga, he says that Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. That means I give my mind to Ishvara. This is what exactly you are saying as being like a dog and surrendering and being like a faithful dog.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
So in Karma Yoga, they call it Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Ishvara Prasada Buddhi.
Yeah,
that means
we call that here.
You see, I surrender the mind to God, and then I say whatever happens to me in the experiential world of reality of Vyavaharika world, I take it as a prasad. I don't ask. I don't keep on asking why this happened to me, why this didn't happen to me. Accept it and move on. Accept it and move on. That's all.
Thank you. Namaste. Namaste. Wonderful.
Okay.
Great.
Deepak, you had a question. Mind as manifest in this universe and unmanifest is the very self. Is this a correct understanding? Mind is not the self, but mind is experience, or it comes in the presence of the self.
Yeah. No, what I wanted to understand is what is this unmanifested mind?
Unmanifested mind is called as ignorance.
Avidya. Okay.
Avidya. That's correct.
I see. Okay.
Avidya
So
vritti is called as unmanifest mind.
Okay. I just thought that unmanifested means that since it's not manifested, the mind is obviously arisen from the very core of the self. So it possibly goes back
mind
to
doesn't
self.
From the mind is there are two conditions of the mind. One is the manifest condition, which is the active mind. The unmanifest condition is called as Karanavastha.
Karana. The sleep state.
The sleep state, which is called as avidya vritti.
Avidya vritti.
Whereas Sakshi is the one which is observing, is aware of this avidya vritti. This is the most important thing in the whole Vedanta. If you understand this, you have understood the entire Mandukya clearly.
Yeah.
So is it clear, Deepak?
Yeah, it is clear. The manifested state of Atma is the mind-body universe.
Yes, that's correct.
The unmanifested state, that's where I got confused.
Yes. Now it's clear, I think, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because these two aspects of the mind is, if it is not clear, then you will have a lot of confusions in understanding Vedanta. The moment these conditions of the mind becomes clear that there is a manifest condition, unmanifest condition, and behind these two, beyond these two conditions of the mind is the Atma, which is the illuminator of these two conditions. Atma is the one which is illuminating the ignorant state of the mind. It is also illuminating the active condition, the knowledge state of the mind.
So basically, the manifest and unmanifest states both are objects.
Yes.
Fundamentally, they're both objects.
Absolutely. Whereas I am the
and
subject.
Therefore, it cannot be seer.
Yes. They are objects. They cannot be a seer. They are the drishyam.
Yeah.
I am the drik. I am the only observer in the entire universe. The same principle is there in all of us. There is only one consciousness principle. Therefore, you and me are not different from the consciousness principle. We are one. In body and mind, we are different. In Karana, Shariram, we are different. But behind these three, there is one principle, which is the Atma. Yeah, Ramesh, you have a question. Can you ask, what's your question?
Yeah, Shekhaji, thank you. I think today's class has been highly enlightening, I would say. A great insight. And that actually sparks a thought in me, and I thought I'll just get myself clarified here.
Yeah.
Assuming, one gets, attain or rather accomplish the entire journey of this Advaita, and, we realize that we are none other than that, right? So in which case, there is no Jivatma, there is no Jagat, and there is no Ishwar, and this the pure consciousness, which is Paramatma.
Yes.
Right. And we recognize that I am the same consciousness. And when I draw that relative to, Jivan Mukta and Videha Mukta, right?
Yeah.
So when I get my knowledge and then I see everything, including me, and everything is Paramatma, and that's the knowledge that it is revealed. Yes. Assuming that I am in that state.
Yeah.
I am experiencing everything as Paramatma, and that is what is known as Jivan Mukta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jivan Mukta, and Jivan Mukta definitely has to pass through his karmas, and then he leaves the body.
Yeah.
Right. And he, assuming that there is nothing left as due for him, and he becomes Videha Mukta, right? So is there any text or is there any narrative somewhere that what would be that experience of Videha Mukta?
See, Videha Mukta happens only after the death of the current body.
Got it.
Okay.
True.
This is still when you're talking of Jivan Mukta and Videha Mukta.
Yeah.
You are regarded still as a junior student.
Okay.
When do you become a senior student is when you say that I am a Nitya Mukta.
Okay.
Nitya Mukta means I am ever free. There is no Jivan Mukta for me. There is no Videha Mukti for me. I am free. I was free. I will always be free. I am that pure consciousness. I am not interested in Jivan Mukta because it is a concept only for the junior students.
Got it.
It is not a reality. Videha Mukti is not a reality if you're a senior student and you claim yourself to be Nitya Mukta.
Right.
This is the highest which has been declared in the text, very beautiful text called as Vichara Sagara. This particular question you are raising is been answered there. And there's a tremendous amount of detail one goes through as in that Vichara Sagara, I mean, maybe you should study that at a later point of time when you have time, but this is a student's question. He says, exactly the question which you asked, Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Then the teacher tells him, you are still at a junior level, rise to the level of Nitya Mukta. Claim Nitya Mukta, these two questions will drop away from you. The day these two questions drop away, that is the day of your realization.
Yeah.
And that is the real state in which all this Jagrata will still keep coming. And this, when they come, you take it as experiences because of the prarabdha karma of the body, and that's it. I leave it at a lower level.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt, Shekharji. My question was basically, what would be the experience of Nitya Mukta?
Okay,
is
the experience of Nitya, okay, if you ask the text, there is the, see, Bhagavad Gita has got the Sthita Prajna portion. I'm sure you must have read that.
Correct.
That portion, if you go and study very deeply, it will give you the experience of a Sthita Prajna, you know. Then if you're asking for other texts which talk about this, you should study a little bit more about the Mahavakya portions of all of the Upanishads.
I see. Okay.
Study the Mahavakya portions, go and contemplate deeper. You will have a lot of questions answered through the Mahavakya portions. Because
I see.
many a times we think that we know the Mahavakyam and we have gone through it, but it is such a deep subject, this Mahavakya portion, especially Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi. The Aham Brahmasmi portion in Brahadanik Upanishad, there is a Shankaracharya's commentary there, which runs into about 20-22 pages of Aham Brahmasmi, the Mahavakya commentary. That is an excellent commentary. If you can go through it, it'll be good.
Okay.
And of course, there is nothing like the Vichara Sagara, because that is the ultimate PhD in Vedanta. If somebody wants to ask me what is the last text I should do, my answer will be Vichara Sagara. The moment you have gone through Vichara Sagara, there will be nothing. There will be absolutely nothing, no more questions, and you are really, really free. That is Nitya Mukta.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shekharji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Surya, you have a question. If our mind is destroyed at the time of Pralaya, what about the unfructified karmas? Unfructified karmas are lying in Karana Shariram. Karana Shariram doesn't get destroyed. It comes back into the next Srishti. You are right. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ankara is all together is called as the mind, or actually what is called, it's together is called as Antak Karana. Surya, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, Surya, basically Antak Karanam, the inner instrument, is called as mind, intellect, ego, and the memory. These are the four functions of the Antakarana. This is the instrument which a jiva uses. Are you clear of these four now?
Yes.
Okay.
But my question is, if karma, either pleasure or pain is for mind only, right?
Yes. Sorrow and happiness is only for the mind. It is not for Atma. Atma is ever free. It's always happy.
So if the mind is destroyed, if the unfructified karmas, how it will be?
Yeah, this mind is destroyed means the mind is merges with in Pralayam. What happens is you don't even think about it. It is millions of years away from us as of now. So basically, what the scriptures tell us is the Karana Shariram is still there. The Karana Shariram is the seed condition which will refructify when the new Srishti comes up.
Okay.
And that will continue in the next Srishti. Again, that Karana Shariram will bring the mind again, it will bring the Sthula Shariram, and then again it will go into the entire cycle. But no need for all that. Understand Nitya Mukti. Just now I was explaining to Ramesh, Understand I am free today. How I am free? I am Atma. That's all. This is the best way to get rid of all these other questions which we keep getting in. But slowly, like you're learning the Tattva Bodha, learning the Atma Bodha. Now, after this text, we are going to do the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll run through the whole Bhagavad Gita, then we will do Upanishads. So slowly let the mind learn. It's the ego I which is learning about itself. And then the moment you learn in a systematic manner, what will happen is you will claim one day that I am free.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Surya. Then I think that's all the questions we have today. It's already 8 o'clock. If anybody, does anybody else have any questions?
Shakurji, sorry, in fact, it's quite late already, but I need a small clarity in my understanding.
Yeah.
3 types of bonds we have discussed today. One is Sahajam, that mind plus
Sahajam.
reflected consciousness.
Yes.
And bond number 3, mind plus Shakshi, you say.
It's yeah, mind Sakshi, yes.
Mind Shakshi. So that first one is mind plus reflected consciousness.
No. All the connections are always, we are talking about the reflected consciousness and Sakshi. Reflected consciousness, mind and Sakshi, all the 3 are involved.
Okay, that means in all the bond number 3 also I can say
yes,
mind.
Yes, mind is involved. Yes, that mind.
The mind
plus,
is there, all the 3 mind is there, but Shakshi, you are using Shakshi in place of reflected consciousness in bond 3.
No. Reflected consciousness is also there. What we are saying is that reflected consciousness comes to know that it is Sakshi. Okay. That is the Bhranti. The Bhranti means what? It is a delusion. The connection we are talking is between reflected consciousness and the mind. In the first case, there is one type of that is called Sahajam. That Sahajam we cannot remove. The second stage is with the reference to the karma. And the third one is it is because of ignorance.
Can be removed by Jnana.
Yes. That can be removed by knowledge.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. That you are clear, right, Amyanshu?
Right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
No. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have any other question? Okay, if there are no questions, we'll close and then we'll continue next week. Thank you very much and good night.